wait a bit for the public to respond. Oh, Jerome. Thank you, Jerome, for the
I said,
audio feedback. Thank you so much. That it's always good to know that we are clear, because that's one challenge that we have been facing quite honestly in the past couple of videos. Of course, we conveniently blame it all on technology, and that's the truth. But yeah, so
I hope you guys can hear both of us.
yeah, that's there, Neil. They can hear the both of us. Uh,
Just checking.
that's how this thing works. Because they can't hear the both of us, and there is, yeah, no point. Awesome. So I think while we wait, so all of you who might be logging in live on YouTube, please drop in a hi. Hi, Sharon.
Sharon,
So nice to see you that you're on the live. So glad that you could join us. All of you who might be logging into this live, please do drop in a hi in the comments right there. That's what makes this live, not just the fact that we are on YouTube.
and do tell us where you're from also.
Please,
Hi, Jensen. Thank you,
Jensen.
Jensen.
Thank you, Jensen. Jensen, why do you have my surname? Okay, maybe just might just be a nickname. Hi,
Hi,
Michelle.
Janvi.
Tony, Reshma, hello.
Jana,
Anjana, hi,
hi.
Anjana. Anjana, Michelle, I know that they are, and Sharon, they are from Bangalore. The others, along with your highs and hellos, if you can just put in your place, you would know where you're from, guys. Arun, Christina, Tobias, even we are hoping for a great session. God will.
Hi, Setin. Hi, Andrea.
Hi, Andrea. Hi, Andrea. Okay, quite excited. Okay. Yes, thank you,
Thank you
Andrea. I was
also.
about to come to that. Can you just exclamation marks? Wow. Hi, Jasmine. Welcome. Sebin. Thank you, Sebin, for joining us live today.
Yeah, I guess.
Jensen. Wow, this is a surprise, Jensen.
Hi, Edward.
Hi, Edward. From Shillong, wow, we have someone all the way from Meghalaya. This is insane. From Jodhpur, we have Jensen from Jodhpur. Jensen, that was a mystery where you're from, but yeah, thank you for clearing that. And we have Geeta from Cochin. Hi, Geeta. We have Tony from Chambakara. Welcome to this live talk show, the Catholic Chai, guys, the Catholic Chai.
Hi, Joby.
Hi, Joby. Nice to have you.
Okay. So I think a lot of people are joining in.
Yeah,
So
so hi Christy. Hi Christy, welcome to the call again. So meanwhile, Neil, as the couple of people they join again, how has been your lockdown? How has been this crazy time, bro? How has this been?
I think that's a question we've been asking each other from the first talk show. And today I think we have to specifically talk about that aspect because lockdown is very different. To be honest, it is definitely a very new experience. I think that's the first thing that I should say. It is a very new experience, and a lot of timetable differences, a lot of differences in everything. I mean, the classes we attend, the time we spend with people, everything is becoming virtual. So it's definitely a difference. That's the word I would like to use. Different. And Johnny, right back at you. How's
Right
your
back at
point?
me. Right back at me. Like all the comments and conversations you make in your life are always directed right back at me. So okay, fine, cool. I'll just share how my lockdown has been. My lockdown, use the word different. For me, I would use the word challenging. Yeah, that's the word I would use. The word challenging because you know the Neil, you're studying, you're still studying, keep studying. But I'm working. Unlike you, I'm working. So working from home has its own level of like you can say stress and all. Like I'm gonna say the synonyms that are connected to the topic today. So yeah, full like stress and all, and the best part about working, Neil, for your information in the future, is that you'll slowly start getting addicted to deadlines. Like you'll be, you and deadlines are going to become very close friends, so much that you can't separate the both. Like you will wait for your friend to come, and only then you will take action. So that is, it kind of doubles your mental space, your stress, and all of that. Apart from that, Neil, I think quite honestly, this lockdown has helped me because I have been able to, in a way, do so many things, so many creative things during this lockdown. I was able to spend my time more or less, some discovering new stuff, making new stuff, creating new stuff, and all. Like, yeah, I recently kind of started like a podcast, kind of played around and made my own website and stuff like that. So the lockdown did give me a lot of time to be creative. So creativity, then how is it challenging? Because I am lazy as any other human being. It's quite challenging to overcome, to be lazy, to keep things till later and actually get to doing them. So that's my take, Neil. That's my take on that.
Okay. I think I would also like to say that I'm also very lazy, and that's probably the only common thing between me and Johnny. As he is working and I'm studying, so yeah, both of us are lazy. That's the common thing in that. Okay,
Neil,
so
we
I
are on
think
live. We are on
yeah,
live. I don't want you making
yeah,
false statements, accusatory statements. Okay, just yeah.
so I think we just go into a song, and I want to sing this action song called "God is watching 24/7, watching over you." I know we are not on video right now because only we both are the people who are in video. But then, if you guys want to dance or if you guys want to sing along, you are always welcome to do that. I can't see you, but then still, I'm welcome you guys to do it. So we're gonna sing this song. When you jumping up and down, when you're spinning my mind, I'm seeing everything you do. He is watching over you. God is watching over you. 24/7, watching over you. And life is his, and whoa. He's got great big hands, because he's watching over you.
Okay, just a second. My ears are bleeding. Just okay, cool. I'm fine now. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, Neil. I think today I'm so glad that we're gonna talk about mental health. I mean, I personally think that for me, I think that's something which is my primary area of focus right now. Like mental health, like it's too important, especially these days. And that's the one thing that's I think that's what challenging is. I mean, that's what challenging during these times. And um, um so I am. It's been already 8-10 minutes. Don't you think our Geo should have been here by now? Like, did you call him? Like, is he gonna be here?
No, I didn't call him. I was hoping that you did call him.
You had one job, Neil. You had one job.
When did you give me this
How
job?
difficult it is. How difficult it is to.
Okay, Johnny, you welcome him. You welcome him.
I welcome who again?
Geo.
You want me to welcome him, Geo?
Yeah,
He's not even on this call. How do I welcome him?
you welcome him.
Okay. Welcome, Geo. What, he's gonna magically appear now? Huh? Well, I don't see any video screens change. Hold on. Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, that's an understatement that you're there. I can clearly see that you're there, but this was least expected. Okay. So usually Neil tells me things, but
Chai Studios in Ernakulam, right?
Yes.
Me and Neil both together.
Yeah, we decided to abandon you for this one.
okay, that one statement really has helped with my mental health right now. Abandonment. That's very good. That's very good.
You have a professional here to help you.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So yeah, Neil, back at you now.
The only problem with Neil being here is, I was thinking if there is a question that's too tough, I can go freeze for some time, Now that's not possible. But then you have developed some consensus here. So maybe we'll work it out, right?
Yeah.
Cool, Gio. I think if there's like any tough questions, I think we'll conveniently use the card of technical difficulty. Technical difficulty, So yeah, cool. Got it. We'll keep it between us. Funny that we're doing this on live. The whole world is watching. But okay. So Neil, why don't you tell us who the person sitting right next to you is? Like in a little more detail. We know he's Gio.
Yes. So as you saw in the posters, this is GOP George. Okay, people want to see you. Okay, so this is GOP George, and I think you can see a lot of them. And yes, so
I am 75% of the frame.
Yeah. So that's why I was asking you to turn that side. Everybody wants to see you. So GOP George is a psychologist and a psychotherapist, and he's right now in Kochi, and he has a firm which helps people a lot, which is third space, and it is under an NGO, and he's a person who's helping out a lot of people, especially young people, to cope up with depression. And also, he's an international resource. He's always traveling. It's very difficult to get in Kochi.
He's pushing me, man.
Yeah, so he's always in Australia, New Zealand, America, all where. Yeah, so it's very difficult to get him. But
Neil, it's not safe to say that in a Corona time.
I know. I was talking about the time before Corona. Okay, yeah. So.
Please admit him in third space. He needs it.
Yeah. So finally, we managed to get him, lure him in, and he's here right now. And yes. So
Yes.
I guess we can start off.
Yeah.
Definitely, we can wait off. I think quickly, probably Neil, you can just couple of others if you can just welcome them on the show as well. We have Joel, we have Alisa, hello, welcome, and we have Angelin, we have Joby, we have Chris Jacob, we have Jesse, very good friend of mine. Welcome, Jesse. And yes, Gio, to the much awaited question. I mean, I think this question which I'm about to ask you is literally like, I'll give you an example. Okay, like for example, if I'm going to write an accounts paper because I'm a BCom student, the first exam will always be define accounts. So
Okay.
I think when we start the show on mental health, I think we'll just directly jump into, we keep hearing these two terms used together separately, but can you give us a better or a clearer idea on what exactly is these two terms mean? Mental health. What is mental health?
Let's go freeze, man.
You haven't even figured.
There are a lot of definitions about mental health. Let's start by talking about what is not mental health. Mental health is not mental strength, although that's the first thing that comes into most of the conversations.
Very poetic. Very poetic.
When we are understanding physical health, we understand it in terms of the strength of the body to fight away all the things that are coming against it. But if our mind starts doing it, that is going to seriously affect the mental health. It's not going to help, right? So mental health is not mental strength, but it's mental flexibility. Okay, there is a word that conceptualizes it very beautiful, and that is psychological flexibility. And psychological flexibility, the biggest indicator of psychological flexibility is, even if you have unpleasant, mental experiences, you're still able to do what matters. Doing what matters even when you're having all this uncomfortable experiences. Let's take an example, right? You're having an examination that is tough, right? And you're anxious about it, you're scared about it, you're nervous about it, and your mind is not helping because it's talking rubbish, right? It's disrupting you, right? So, the mind is saying, man, you're a failure, you cannot do it. The brilliant fellows are the people who pass this examination and all those things, and the memories of your past failures are coming. All those things are there for everyone, right? And even with all those things, if you're able to plan your studies, do what matters, and prepare for the exam, then we can say that you are mentally healthy, as in you're flexible. I would like to, just take it to the biblical aspect of it. I love this. The Lord said to us, take up your cross and follow me, right? So I think mental flexibility, psychological flexibility, or mental health is our ability to take up the cross and walk the journey that matters. That's following the Lord, following the love, whatever it is. So, that's my unfreezed idea about mental health. There can be a lot of definitions.
I think thank you so much, Gio, for sharing that. I think I'm not going to forget that anytime soon. That mental health is not mental strength, but rather mental flexibility. That's and the fact that our mental health is rather it's rather than a one-stop destination. It's a journey of carrying that cross on a daily basis, like as the Lord said. So thank you so much, Gio. That was beautiful. So. Neil.
Yes. So yes, I want to add this question. Like, I know you are a professional. You are a psychologist. A lot of people come to you for help. So I don't think everybody here watching the show, or maybe you and me, I am sitting here with you right now, but then you are not somebody who's accessible to me all the time. So my question is simple. Now, a lot of people go through depression. A lot of people say they're going through depression, or a lot of people might think that they're going through depression.
Okay.
So, when do you have to seek professional help?
Okay. When your mental experiences, as in your thoughts or emotions or sensations or past memories or anything of that sort, when it starts hooking you and when it starts affecting the quality of your life, that's when you have to go and seek professional help. Today morning I cooked a breakfast that was horrible as usual. I was a bit and thinking about my track record, I got a bit depressed too, because it's not getting better, right? So, but then that's not depression, right? And before the Catholic chai was happening, I had a bit of anxiety about how this is going to be because I was having an anxiety about whether I'll be able to share the screen because I occupy it so much, right? So this anxiety is there, but then that's not hooking me. That's not affecting the quality of my life. I'm able to do what matters, right? Even in spite of all these things, right? So if your mental events, feelings, thoughts, sensations, emotions, or anything of that sort, trauma, memories, if it's hooking you, if it's affecting the quality of your life, that's when you have to seek the help of a professional. And it's, psychologists are very nice people, right? So you don't have to worry about them. They won't harm you, right? So you can go to a counselor, a psychologist, or someone and seek help.
Yeah, I guess that's told very beautifully. Thing is, what you have to do, when do you have to seek, go for professional help is very simple. When you are disturbed or when your mind is not, when you feel like you are actually disturbed, right? Yeah, yes. That is the first thing. And go to a psychologist. Okay, that is, and just like he said, psychologists are amazing people. Yeah.
Okay, one sec. Hold on a second. Now, Gio, let's just put that person, as you said, like that person who's gonna hook in, has to. That's when you understand that they have to seek professional help. Now, I'm pretty sure if I tell Neil anything, he won't listen. Like especially these serious things and all, he won't listen. If I tell that person sitting right next to you, he won't listen.
Should be a better person. Yeah, let's talk about him.
Let's just talk about this. Let's just talk about him. Okay. So the thing is, in real life, probably I know a couple of people. I actually know a couple of people who might be going through. They tell me that they're going through depression, and I think that they're going through something of that sort. But then, how can I tell them? To put very simply, Gio, sometimes they tell me things that which I think, okay, that's all. I expected something higher than this, like to trouble you. But then sometimes I think, okay, I think that might be insensitive. So when a friend of mine or when let anybody, they come to me and they share their troubles with me and they might even tell me that they are depressed. But how can I be sensitive and at the same time, as you said before, direct them to help as and when and if needed or required? How does that work out?
Yeah, it's very important that you have somebody to talk things with, right? Even if you
Did you hear that? Did you hear that, Neil? Did you hear that? Okay, cool. Yes, you continue.
I will help him with this afterwards, man. Don't worry about it. He will be a new person from now on. Right?
I'm not going to stay here for long.
So, it's very important that you have someone, right? So, being that someone is a wonderful occasion, right? Someone whom people can come to and talk to and know that you listen to them. That's wonderful. So if you can be that person, if that is your charism, praise God, man. That's something that the world needs a lot, right? But then if you understand that this person is suffering from something, and let me talk about the other thing. Like some problems may seem very, very little, but then it's little because it's not your problem, right? Right? Our problems are the big problems, right? When we have some, when we are hungry for like 1 hour, that's a big problem. Then the people who are below, who are not getting food in Africa, right? That's something which we can agree, right? So our problem is always the big problem. So we have to be, when we are talking to people, when we are listening to people, we have to understand that it may seem less, but then it's a big problem for them, right? So when this problem gets a bit complex, and you understand that this is not a simple problem you can deal with, that's when the best thing you can do is to get them connected with a, connect them to a good therapist or a mental health professional. Because even if you're if you have good intentions, that won't make you able to do an open heart surgery, right? Neil and I am good friends, and he says I have a chest pain, I have some problems in my heart and stuff. I'm saying as a friend, I will open your heart and do the surgery. That's done. That will clear, right? So the thing is, if you don't have the professional capacity to help a person who is facing a mental health challenge, which requires professional capacity and professional training to do so, you have to restrain yourself, right? And connect them with a mental health professional. And if the person is coming again and again with these problems, say to them, and I'm here with you, I'm here to listen to you. But then the problem is, it's not safe that I do an open heart surgery on you, right? So please go with this emotion problems to somebody who can really help. I'm here with you. I can connect you with people. But then, this is something which I cannot help, right? And leave them to the other person. That may be the best thing you can do when a person is suffering and reaching out to you. One, be that person, and two, understand when it's getting out of the hand and lead to a person who is better qualified, right?
I think what you meant is not open heart, but open mind surgery, maybe, because it's like
no, I meant open heart surgery.
You actually meant open heart. Okay, cool. Got it.
I was saying,
Open heart
if you
surgery.
have a heart problem, your friend cannot do a surgery. Only a surgeon can, even if it's not a friend, right? So we will have good intentions and all these things going on, but what you may be doing when you are helping a person with a psychological trouble, maybe maybe just like you doing an open heart surgery because you're not qualified to do it, right?
Absolutely. And again,
yeah, I think so. That's why
One
we
seems
asked
to
the
be
question
doing
itself.
yeah, some, yeah.
He's done a lot of it on me.
On open heart surgeries, yeah. They're still live.
Okay. Am I stuck up? Or am I audible? I'm audible.
You're
Right?
audible.
Okay, cool.
We were having a moment here.
Oh, sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry. Not see guys. Okay.
I think I'll go to the next question. So the next question is, you were talking about this open heart surgery, a friend being a help, something like that. But then most of us, I think, who have joined this show today are people who are actually following some kind of spirituality. Or there might be people who are not following a spirituality also, but then most of them are people who are trying to follow a spirituality. Now, my question is there any connection between spirituality and mental health, or are they even related?
Okay, as in, will a person who is spiritual be more mentally healthy than the other
yes,
person?
right.
Yeah. So I've read some of the literature on this. There are quite a lot of studies that say spirituality helps you to be mentally healthy. But then the problem with the studies is, there is a lot of chaos. As in, there are a lot of variables that are not addressed. So you cannot take the studies and directly quote it. The other problem is most of these are correlative studies, and it cannot actually say that this is the cause of it, right? So, but then spirituality for sure helps a lot when it comes to different aspects of mental health. When you're looking at depression and anxiety, for example, both of these things are about a person having a very narrow life view and very narrow world view, something of that sort. It's a process in which it narrows down for you, right? So spirituality always helps you to broaden the view, right? It broadens it. So in that way, spirituality helps a lot. The second thing is, when you're looking at Bible, you see a God who is always with us. Right? If you have a God who is always with us, a presence of this mighty Lord with us, that's something that gives us a lot of mental consolation and this thing to go on. Even Johnny likes your presence, so think about God being present, the person being aware of it. Right? And the next thing is, spirituality will help you connect yourself with the deeper yearnings and values of ourselves and don't get lost in the world and what the world is saying right now. For example, there is this brilliant study done by Harvard University, Center of Adult Development. They did a study on this 150 or 200 people who and they did a longitudinal study. So they were observing them from the time they were sophomores at Harvard to their 65s and 75, and now they are continuing. They were looking at the contentment of these people, so the contentment in their life, and they found something amazing. They found that it's not the people who achieved more who are contented in life, the people who have great relationships, right? And one of these people in this study became the president of America. So that's the extent of achievement they had. So now we live in a world which always says us to achieve things, right? We get lost in that, right? Achieve, have this, have that, right? When you are in 10th standard, 10th standard, 12th standard, right? Get a job, get married. There's always these things going on. Get a car, get a flat, whatever. So it's very easy to get lost in these sounds and do something that's not inherently of value. But spirituality always anchors you down. As in, it keeps you down to what really matters. And it helps us a lot when it comes to living a life that's full, rich, and meaningful. A life contentment. Or as Bible says, a life that's abundant. Right?
Okay, I think that is amazing. And yes, so spirituality does help you. So people who are following a spirituality, you don't have to worry that it does not help your mental health. It does help you. And it does give you a wider angle, a wider view of things. And that will definitely help you in your mental health.
Another thing I would like to say is, Neil, just maybe a bit out of the way, but then, this mental health is not feeling good all the time, right? Okay. If you're feeling good all the time, even when the troubles are there, that can be a sign of not having mental health. So you're not talking about feeling good or feeling happy, because I'm saying this because we have been sold this happiness story always. So we are always looking for this feeling good things. But then mental health is about feeling contented in life. That's a little more deeper than happy, right?
Yes.
So that's what it is.
Yes. So mental health is definitely much more bigger than happiness. It's much more bigger than an emotion. That is what he's trying to say.
Yes.
Okay. So over to you, John.
Oh yeah, thank you, Neil. About time. I've been been wanting to ask Gio something in connection to that. But before that, our dear lovely audience, once again, thank you all who recently joined in. Would just like to quickly tell you to there is that big shiny red button. I don't know, Neil, what does it say on that button? It says what? Subscribe. Yeah, subscribe. Yeah, guys, can you please just all you gotta do is just not your fingers, that won't work unless it's a touchscreen laptop like mine. But you just have to click it. Okay, just one click that would do. Subscribe, and more importantly, secondly, our dear lovely audience, please put in whatever questions you might have in the comments. And in a few minutes from now, we will definitely be answering those. I already saw a couple of questions. Great going, guys. Awesome questions. We will look forward to answering those. But the others, please, if you have any questions at all, please put it in the comments right there. Now, yes. Gio, I have one question connected to the spirituality aspect, which Neil just spoke about. Please. Now, once again, Neil is the villain. He has to be. So he always tells me that, like, for example, if I'm feeling down, okay, I'm like, some genuine problem might have happened in my life, and I go to him, like he's like on speed dial. I call him up, okay, and I tell him, Neil, this happened, that happened, and all of that. And then I tell him, Neil, I'm feeling sad, like I'm not feeling okay, I'm not happy, I'm feeling down. Can I, what's wrong? Is something wrong, And then he has the nerve to tell me that I don't have enough Holy Spirit in me. That I don't. That I have to pray more. I have to read the Bible more. And I'm on the verge of breaking down. And I hear this, Gio. Gio, you gotta clarify this, Gio. What is the connection here? I need some clarity.
First of all, he's making this up.
No.
He just wants a phone.
Whoa. I promise that's him. So, Gio, I need a clarity here.
Okay, fine. We'll go to the question.
Oh, yeah. Or maybe you have a different Neil, which you're talking to all this time. This Neil is not aware of it. Maybe a chance, right? Maybe the first thing you have to understand is, when you're feeling down, it's not the problem. It's not an issue with having Holy Spirit, having less of Holy Spirit, because Holy Spirit is not dopamine or serotonin, right? They are the chemicals that causes you to be happy and stuff, right? The biggest problem is in how we see Holy Spirit, because Holy Spirit comes in the last session of most of the retreats, where Holy Spirit is introduced as this, happy hormone shot or a vitamin shot or a boost packet or something of that. So here is Holy Spirit, get the fruits and gifts and all those things. The first thing we have to understand is the Holy Spirit is a person, right? The word used in Bible for Holy Spirit is, parakletos, right? And that word means the one who stands with you and cheers for you. So Holy Spirit is actually the Kamondra Mahesha you're hearing from within, right? It's the voice that says, "Come on, man," right? That has to do more with contentment than happiness, right? And this is something which we hear a lot. I'm sure Neil may not be making mistakes like this. I'm a little afraid of him, because I'm sharing the space with him, and he's quite happy.
He's quite unpredictable. Please keep your guard. Please watch out. He's very unpredictable.
Hearing the blames on him, I'm a bit scared of him too, right? So
please, you have to. Yeah.
There is a problem here. Most of the people say that the cause of mental health issues is spiritual. That's all wrong. It's same as saying, the cause of a physical disease is sickness. If you're saying the cause of the, physical disease is because of the lack of grace or because of your sin, well, that's so wrong. You have to educate yourself. The same is with mental health. Now, this wonderful thing about Catholic Church is Catholic Church sees everything so far ahead of time. And Catholic Church, even before the genesis of modern psychology, has said something beautiful. It instructed the leaders that, you may mistake mental health issues to be spiritual issues. So be careful about that, right? That's how rich it is. So if you are coming with if we are saying that, mental health issue or a feeling down or something that has to do directly with a spiritual reason, that we are really, really wrong, man. That's so wrong, right? So if Neil is saying that you should change your habits, you should have a repentance right now, right? That's
still making up. I'm not
Thank you, Gio. Thank you very much for that. Now I'm at peace. I'm at peace now.
Okay. I don't want to fight about that. I still continue to say that I'm not doing that. Okay.
Lies.
You have to go to the next question.
Yes.
So since lack of time, I'll deal with that personally with him after this.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
but don't make it violent. Okay.
No. Yeah. Very Christian.
Very spiritual.
Send
him word of God every day. 5 or something like that. So,
yeah. That's the best.
Spiritual war begin. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So the next question I have is a little similar to this, but then I'm sure a lot of people, including me, we have gone into swearing sometimes in our life. It is not something which we are encouraged to do, but then there are chances it can come up. But we already know that swearing is a sin. Is it a sin? Again, a question for you. And next, again, when you are angry or frustrated, is it justifiable to release your emotions with words which are actually harmful for others or for even us? So let's put it like this: even swearing or even other negative words, is that actually justifiable? Does that actually help you in any way?
Okay. The first question is it a sin, right? And is it justifiable? Okay. The thing is, I'm not saying about the sin thing of it, but I'm saying it's dumb to do that, because the catharsis never works, right? Releasing your emotional pain in ways like that.
Okay, Gio, I think you have to elaborate on the word catharsis.
Yeah, what's catharsis, Gio? That's a foreign word to me.
Yeah, catharsis is when you're angry. You hear the people saying, beat the pillow up, right? Smash the bucket in the office or something of that. So that's catharsis, releasing it. Right. The problem is there is plenty of scientific literature on how non-functional catharsis is. So if you are getting angry and every time you get angry you're swearing, that I don't know about the sin part of it, but then that's surely dumb. As in it's not functional. It will not help you. As in you have to swear more every time. That's how the catharsis comes. You have to have an intense response all the time. The problem with anger or any other emotion is, it should be functional, right? When you're expressing it, should be functional. As in, the first thing about anger, let's talk about anger. The first thing we have to study when we are dealing with anger is, the first thing we have to do is express and not explode. Right? Because most of the time when we are angry, explosion is what's happening. The doors are slammed and all those things. All things happen, and the people around you have no clue about what's happening here. Right? That's not communicating anything. People don't even know you are angry. You're just exploding like a cracker somewhere. So the first thing is, limit your explosion and start expressing, because anger is a very wonderful tool. The Lord was angry. There are so many people who were angry. Mahatma Gandhi was angry, right? Martin Luther King Jr. was angry. There are a lot of people who were angry, and angry had a functional effect when they didn't explode, but they expressed. Right? So you have to learn to express. The second thing is, we have to learn to explain. As in, you have to hear what they are saying and explain your point of view, right? And the third thing is, you have to learn to negotiate. Because it's always going to be, the world is not going to be your way. That's a reality we have to understand. You have been told a lie that when you become old, you can run the show. That's not going to happen. That's the lie they told you, right? So it's always going to be different people's show. So there is always going to be a crisis. So you have to learn to negotiate. So if you want to use this emotion in the right way, you need to learn to express, explain, and negotiate. 3 skills. But if you're swearing, you're not studying any of these things. And 60 years, you're offended and you will blast like a cracker and no one understands. It's a bad way to live, right? So that's the thing. So catharsis won't help, but taking these emotions and making it functional, so communicating with it may help.
Okay, I think that answer is very clear. Catharsis never helps. Anger is definitely an emotion, but use it in the right way. Yeah, and try to negotiate and try to solve it easily. It's possible. Yes.
And you don't want to live with a person who always swears. Right?
Yeah, definitely. It will be a very negative energy producer.
That's a good vibe in teenage, but then definitely when you become old and you're swearing all the time, people will say like, "Grow up, man." Right?
Exactly. I think that question was answered very good. I don't think I have to add on anything to that. And yes, Johnny.
No, I was just when I was listening to all of this, I was just those words, exploding, like, I don't know, banging doors, throwing plastic buckets. I was just replaying this in my mind and wondering, I did see this somewhere quite recently. It was when I was with someone. But no, it's absolutely not you. It was Neil George. It was not you. So
one time you said you're not in the plane.
He's making up so many things today.
I'm making up like the amount of hurt, both physical and emotional, I had that day, both from the bucket that was thrown at me and the words that were hurled at me. Neil, there is no count to that. Okay, there's no limit to that. But
always do a little examination of conscience. Whether the bucket was thrown for a reason is also a valid question to think.
You support the throwing of the bucket, huh? You support the throwing of the bucket. That's what you're saying.
I'm saying some buckets can be thrown at certain times.
Wow. Okay. Just some people should keep in mind the weight of the bucket also the next time they throw. So yeah. I think one thing, Gio, which I wanted to ask here is also the fact that you mentioned about catharsis. You mentioned about like releasing it, finding a release. Does obviously anger is there. Like, there's a lot of resentment, hatred. I think these are all friends. They all go together. Does forgiveness help? Does accepting the other person's apology, like when that person says sorry and you say like, okay, I accept that sorry, I forgive you, or even like, even if you don't say anything, like internally, if you forgive and you try to forget, does that help with the so-called release or catharsis?
Yeah, forgiveness is a very good thing, because when forgiveness is you unhooking yourself from what has happened and you moving ahead in your life, in the journey that matters. So think about this, I am getting into a metro from Palarivattam, right? Palarivattam is the station near me. And somebody looked at me and somebody gave me some word, say, swear at me or something of that. So that's very right that I feel angry. I should not be treated that way, right?
Yeah.
I should not be, right? And I'm angry, and I have this flight to catch. Maybe I'm going to Alua. From there, I'll take another bus or something, go to this flight and reach some place, right? So if I'm not forgiving, what will happen here is I will be caught up with this anger, right? And I will get down at Edapalli because I cannot handle it, right? And I will go back to this Padarivattam metro station, and I will find this bloody guy, and I will take him in his neck, and I will swear at him, and I will make face at him. Right? The problem is my flight is gone. Right? That's the problem, right? So I don't want to lose my fight or swear or nothing. I'm saying this is a very light thing to say, but then there are things people are really, really hurt with, and there are things that where forgiveness is very, very difficult. But I would say pride, because if you are hooking yourself to it, you won't go ahead in your life and become the person you want to become. Right? That's what matters, because this fellow who did this very, very bad thing to you should not have control over your life all the time. Right? So forgive, right? And we in Christianity, we have this beautiful model of our Lord's forgiveness. Right? We can say, Lord, you forgave, so I'm forgiving. Although it's very difficult for me, right? And I don't know.
Neil, it's for you. It's for you. Can you please listen to all this?
You almost scared me with the holding the neck part now.
Gio, to be very honest, I'm in a way extremely disappointed that you did this in the air and not literally, like you could have, like he's right there. You had the opportunity.
I'm a psychologist, not a bouncer, man. Different professions. I cannot manhandle him.
You can do it when Johnny comes to set.
Yes.
Forgiveness. Neil, we just talked about it. We just talked about it on this live show. Forgiveness. You wouldn't hear that, huh? You are busy finding buckets to throw.
It only applies when you are there.
Oh. Yeah. Yes, exactly. I'm also a human being.
Okay.
So are you saying that I am not a human being?
Clearly, it's evident.
Okay. Again, I'll deal with this after this. I do not want to argue about this right now. Yeah.
Of course. So Neil, I think
the show, so don't forget to comment them and ask what happened after the show. Maybe they needed something of that sort about the after effect. The good thing is they are locked in different cities.
Yeah. Excellent. So Neil, I think our audience has a lot of questions. So if you have anything more, we can quickly ask them.
I think we have actually Gio reminded me about this, about the lockdown. So this would be like the final question. Okay. What exactly is your insight, or can you give some insights or some help to cope up with mental health during this time of lockdown?
To be mentally healthy.
Yes.
It's always normal to have an abnormal reaction to an abnormal situation, right? So if you are in lockdown, it's very normal that you are not feeling the same way you felt before. So that's the first thing we have to understand. It's very normal to feel this way during lockdown because you are locked down. You're not feeling it. You have some problem which you have to consult an expert with before. I think there are a few things which we can take care of when it comes to our mental health during lockdown. The first thing is, create a routine. As in, this is this emotional storm that's happening, and it's wiping us out and it's swaying our lives. And the good thing you can do is anchor yourself a little bit. The routine will help you a lot when it comes to anchoring yourself. Think about this. If you just fix a time to wake up and sleep, or if you just fix a time for your meals, something where you can anchor yourself, it is going to help you a lot when it comes to when it comes to dealing with this mental pressure during lockdown. And the next thing is pursue what matters to you, right? Our mind has this desire to become more, and this pursuing that is very important to be mentally healthy. So pursue something that you have been always looking for, maybe a skill building, maybe a gardening thing, or something of that sort. Whatever it is, pursue something that matters to you. The third thing is get connected with people, because that's what we are lacking in this lockdown. And fortunately, we have social media, where Neil from Ernakulam and Johnny from Bangalore can fight over things, right? So there's an ample opportunity to connect, right? So we can connect with our long lost friends and all those people, and also connect with the people who are locked down in home with you. That's also important. They are also there, right? So that's good time for connection. I was at home for 50 days with all my brothers, right? It was a wonderful time. And my mother was saying, maybe this is the only time you'll get to spend this many days together. That's the thing. Lockdown is a blessing in that way. And the last thing is, it's good to be physically a bit active, more active. It helps you a lot in helping you with the mental health and trying to eat a bit clean, as in avoiding the sugars and things that have been literature on how it helps. I'm not very good at that, but I should say that. Otherwise, it will be it will not be an expert talk. So that's also good, right? Yeah,
awesome, Gio. Yeah, so I think quickly we'll move on to our our audiences. Number of questions are rising, so
now's the time to freeze. Yeah.
So probably we have first question. So I think Angelin asks Gio, how as a Catholic therapist would you, I think that's addressed to you only, how as a Catholic therapist would you help a client in a secular setting? Okay, very, very complex question. I'm going to freeze right now. Okay. Just,
I'm also the first thing I also had this, I am a person who takes faith seriously, so this is not a simple thing for me. So I also had so many reservations and doubts when I came into practice of how I'll deal with these things. But I'm finding that there are people who have a lot of shared values than differences. Right? Differences are, in my life as a therapist for the last 5 years, I have seen people agree, and very few times have I seen people disagree. So standing a Catholic and being rooted to your values actually don't pose a threat in most of the situations. But when it comes to those situations, it poses a threat. There is your call to give a price, right? Because, obviously, as a Christian, you should stand with integrity to what you believe, right? And I'm not saying if you don't believe it, you don't have to stand for it. But if you believe it, you have to stand for what you believe. And obviously, there is a cost. But I think that the moments where you have to pay a cost is very, very less. And more are the moments where you discover, we are all same, and there's a very little difference between us. This is a beautiful world where people are all having similar values and similar journeys and things like that. So that's my answer. I'm sure that I didn't give her the very specific answer for it, but then, this is the idea, and as a therapist,
yes,
around because we psychologists like that, right?
Okay, so we have next question from Anjana. Okay, in the Catholic point of view, it is said that there is nothing like mental illness. Okay, I think we already covered that, but then maybe we'll tell it again. It's all about inner healing, and also, so as a Catholic and psychologist, can you share your comments on it? So basically, she's talking about inner healing. So is inner healing and mental health?
Yes. We live in a rough world, and we always, it's obvious that we get hurted, right? We all receive it, even if you don't want it. Like Johnny was saying, the buckets come at you, even if you don't want it and deserve it, right? Give Johnny that doubt, yeah, whatever it is. That is that. So inner healing, in my understanding, inner healing is forgiveness. So you have to unhook yourself from what has happened to move ahead in life, right? To continue the journey. So inner healing is required a lot. But when you're talking about depression or anxiety or OCD or schizophrenia or anything of that sort, that they are not inner healing issues. So they are mental health issues. So that's a different thing altogether, right? So both are different things. Inner healing is very much required when it comes to unhooking yourself from the past and the hurts you have received and continue your journey forward. Yes, but then depression is not, or anxiety is not an inner healing issue. And Catholic Church is also very clear about these things, although there is no explicit teachings of this sort. Church considers mental illness just as physical illness and not as spiritual problems.
Okay, I think the answer is very clear. The Church has already said that mental illness is
Neil
definitely.
is supporting me, man. He's
Yes.
saying it's a good answer and all those things,
That's what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah. It's good when we are in the same studio.
Yeah, otherwise I might get
No, I can say it's bad and all because there's the quite considerable number of distance here. So yeah, but I don't think Neil has that liberty there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always to be on the safe side. So Gio,
Yes.
Gio, I think personally, even when we hear about mental health, we hear a lot of related terminologies being used. But what is the difference between the couple of terms? Tobias has asked a couple of terms here: psychologist, psychotherapist, and psychiatrist. Like, what is the difference between these ist, and ist? There are three ist. So yeah.
There are many which are not popular. We have the habit of putting names for everything and putting names that are very
Absolutely.
most of the diseases, it's very difficult to say. You have to have a real good tongue and practice to say those things. So if you have a mobile phone and it got crashed, right? It can be a hardware issue or a software issue. Most of the time, it's an issue of both hardware and software. So psychology deals with the software, and psychotherapy deals with the software. Now, hardware, the wires and the chips and the things like that. For your mind, it's your brain, nervous system, and things like that. So if it's a hardware issue, the psychiatrist deals with it. Most of the time, they both combine. So a psychiatrist and a psychologist together works on these things to help the client. So psychiatrist is a medical doctor who has done his MD in psychiatry, and he is able to deal with your mostly with your hardware issues. And a psychologist is a person who has a post-graduation, maybe a clinical psychologist, a person who has an MPhil or a doctorate in psychology, and he deals with the software. Psychotherapist is also just like that. Psychotherapist is a psychologist who is specialized in psychotherapy, or maybe a social worker or a mental health counselor who has specialized in a certain form of psychotherapy, who's going to help you with the software. So both are important, and both of the people work together, right? They help you. If that's a psychological issue, a psychiatrist will send you to a psychologist, and vice versa. So that's what's happening. So these are the three terms which we can give some clarity. There are many other terms that you will see.
There are many other ist. There are many other ist, of course, and I think it's very, very logical that you can't deal with a hardware issue like how you would deal with a software issue and vice versa. So I definitely think that we really need these individual roles and responsibilities also.
You cannot beat up your software for your hardware issue, right?
Absolutely.
It's not working. It's just a hardware issue, man. And the mind will be saying, "Come on, man, fix my wire. Software is fine, right?"
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's answered. So can we go to the next question? Okay, the Unbox Creative. I hope that's not his name. Yeah. So his question is
Neil. So.
Oh, it's a her. Okay.
Okay.
So could you mention?
Because I know that person.
Oh, okay. Could you mention one activity that will help to widen our mental flexibility? I think that's a very beautiful question.
That's a question. And there are so many activities and there are so many aspects of psychological flexibility. But I will start with one, right? Because we have time limitations too. One will be thanking your mind. That's a good activity to do. So you are having a thought. Mind is like this overly helpful friend you have, right? Who can be very irritating at sometimes,
Like Neil. Like Neil.
I don't know. That's their personal issues which we have to work in a relationship counseling setting. But then, right, that's a different issue.
I didn't know there was something like that.
Yeah, that's another ist, right? So these thoughts are your mind saying things, right? Saying things about your mind wants to protect you because this mind has come through an evolution, right? Evolution, there was a time when you were in the forest and there were animals around you and your mind had to alert you always about the threats that are coming. Always it had to replay the memories of the last fight and things like that. So that's how the mind evolved. And right now, mind is trying to help you by saying, man, this fellow is not so friendly with me. Oh, that boss is not that good. I may get fired, right? This is your mind. Poor mind was an overly helpful friend trying to help you. So the next time we have to, this is called diffusion in scientific terms. Diffusion is you separating yourself from your thoughts. As in you understanding, thoughts are not you, right? When your mind says, I'm done, that's your mind saying, I'm done. That does not mean you're done, right? It's your mind, already helpful friend saying, you're done. So you can do one thing, it's a small activity where when you have this negative self-talks and things like that, so listen to what the mind is saying, okay? Like, if you this overly helpful friend does not listen to, this fellow will come again at you, right? So listen to what your mind is saying and you say, thank you, mind, right? Thank you, mind. I'm having a thought that I'm done. Thank you, mind, for saying that. Because, it's this capacity of you that has saved my forefathers from being eaten by a lion. So that's functional. You're here because your forefathers had this capacity. Thank you, mind. I'm thinking this. I'm having a thought of this. My mind is saying to me something. Thank you, mind. Separating yourself from the thought and thanking your mind. Because he's an overly helpful friend who most of the time is irritating, but that's fine. You need him.
Absolutely.
If you don't need him, you cannot get rid of it. He's like, the mind is like that Andy that comes to your house who irritates you so much, but you cannot prevent her from coming, right? that relative of yours, So there is no way you can escape from it, but make room for it. First way, diffusion. Thank you, mind, for that thought. Wonderful. And I have always been. Thank you, mind. Praise God. Yeah?
Praise God.
Yeah.
We go to the next question.
So yeah, we have another question by Tammy Thomas. So Tammy asks, how do you spiritually cope, especially with stress? Now, adding on to that, Gio, like, is stress good or is it like, and anxiety, of course. Tammy mentioned that, stress and anxiety. So are these things like inherently like bad, like stay away from me, or is it good to a certain extent? What is your take on that?
Every psychological emotion, you cannot, when you're saying an emotion is bad or negative or something, I think that's a very bad way of classifying emotions. Everything is functional. Everything has a function evolutionary. It's functional, that's why it's stayed. Right? So stress can be, thanks and anxiety, all those things are good things. Right? Stress is what makes me study for things. Stress is what makes me prepare for work. Anxiety is what makes me a bit more cautious about what I'm saying in the public and stuff. If you don't have stress and anxiety, you will be total, totally will be all over the place and you will not be making any sense in with life and stuff. So how can you deal spiritually with it? Maybe you can look up to the Lord. I think that's one of the things we can do. As in, He carried a cross, right? And your cross now is stress and anxiety. But then there is a Lord who is carrying it with you, all right? So let's look at this. What is this anxiety and stress preventing you from doing? What are you not doing because of these things? That's the journey we want to make, right? And let's be a little more open to take up this cross, although it's uncomfortable, and do that journey, even when anxiety and stress is there. That's how you make room for the cross. And that cross is what is going to save you, because you have made this journey that matters, right? I know it's a bit poetic, as in it may not be very realistic when it comes to life, but I think I have made a point of what is happening. And if stress and anxiety is getting out of hand, as in you cannot cope with it and it's seriously affecting your life, go see a professional. He can help you with that, right? That's the thing. So if it's there and if it's disturbing you slightly, you can take it up and walk with it towards the place you want to go. Or if it's really disturbing, let's go see a professional who can help.
Yeah. So I think that answer was answered in the previous questions also, and again he mentioned it again, and that was beautiful. So can we go to the next question?
So Neil, as you read out this question, just to our dear lovely audience, we also would require to respect the time. Time is definitely a constraint, whether we like it or not. So we would like to tell you that even though this might be one of the last questions that we would probably address on the show, but definitely considering that there are a lot of you again with so many more questions, we will definitely probably consider something like another episode on mental health, like a chapter 2. But we will definitely get back to you with the answers that you seek for your questions. So on that note,
Yes.
Neil, probably you can go to the last
Yeah.
question. This is for today.
Okay, so the question is from Shreya Jones, and well, this might be not that serious.
It is serious. It is serious.
Yeah.
Very serious.
But sometimes I might get really stressed or worried if I don't study for a day. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, it also makes me feel that I'm losing everything. I don't know. I just feel so stressed. So I think that's a statement more than a question. Do you want to add to that statement?
Yeah, I think if it's disturbing you that much,
Okay, is that all right, or what should I do to overcome it? Okay, it was a
And
question.
Gio, she's
Yeah.
really stressed. Shreya's really stressed. That's why she's asking this question. So she really needs your answer. I don't know about the others, but Shreya really needs your answer. So yeah,
Is
you can.
buckets at you again. So yeah, throwing buckets is a good activity anyway,
Yeah,
and
she
always
do
a
that.
Johnny that's very functional to deal with your
I think
anxiety.
Shreya is from Bangalore. You can definitely do that when you see Johnny next time.
Yeah, cups, buckets or something. Make it eco-friendly. Even go with plastic, right? That's fine. Yeah. So
Paper
if-
buckets,
if-
please.
if-
Yeah.
if your anxiety and stress is a problem for you, it's a problem. Right? We don't have any scale. If it's affecting your life, it's a problem, and you have to get help. So I cannot. It's not possible for me to give you one trick you can do to get rid of all these things, because that's not how it happens. So if you are affected by it, get the professional help, because you don't have to doubt whether it's that significant or not. That's not the issue. The thing is, if it disturbs you, it disturbs you. It's a problem. Let's get some help. So that's my answer for that. And throwing buckets, of course, yes.
Yeah, I
At
can
John,
definitely do that. Yeah. Shreya,
not
you
on
can
Neil.
definitely-
Neil is a very good man. I'm personal witness for him.
This is because only because you've been there, like you're physically like over there, like that's why you're feeling all this. But you should get to know him as a person. Then who knows, things might change. So yeah,
And again, we have to take the part where Shreya is already in Bangalore and you're already in Bangalore. Both of you are in Bangalore, so you are more accessible to her.
Yes. If it helps our stress and anxiety, that's wonderful.
wow, thank you
Okay,
guys.
guys.
What about my mental health? Okay, cool. So I
Yeah,
think Neil,
okay. Yeah, cool. So that was, like Johnny said, that was the last question, and we are coming to the end of the show. And as you guys already witnessed, oh my God,
I'm crying, man.
I'll
I cannot handle it.
And, oh my okay, so this was probably the first show where the host was with the resource person. So this show was definitely special. And we definitely had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. And so as we end the show, we're going to end this with a small prayer. We're going to make the sign of the cross, and we're going to end this. All glory be to the Father, to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the
Amen.
beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen.
Amen.
Okay,
So
guys.
before we
So
wind up again, guys, quickly there is a beautiful shiny red button right there on the screen. It has a subscribe written on it in huge capital letters. Please click on it, guys, and also all those of you who did put your questions on the comments, please don't think that okay, this question was not answered. We will definitely get on top of that, and we will get back to you. We'll reach back to you with these answers. Additionally, guys, we have a wonderful Instagram page at the Catholic Chai. Exactly, that's the spelling. CATHOLIC at the Catholic Chai on Instagram. Please do follow us. And here's another good news also. Here's another channel through which you can ask us questions. You can actually DM us on Instagram, and we will consider that too when we come on to the show, the actual live show. So you have any questions, you don't need to wait for the live to happen, although you can ask questions on the live comments, but you can actually DM us the questions. Like one day you're sitting like, and suddenly this question pops up. You don't have to wait till the next live. I'm like, okay, let me just quickly put it across to them. Who knows? They might talk about that, and then they might answer this question. So yeah, guys. So follow us on Instagram, subscribe on YouTube, and thank you so much to each and every one of you, all of you who joined today for the live session on mental health on a Catholic perspective. And thank you, Gio. Thank you so much for Yes, we did it.
Thank
We did
you.
it.
I love it. Yeah.
So,
I was just
this is, of course, please, you can have your personal moments even after this live show ends. Please go ahead. Okay, just watch out for buckets. That's all. So, on that note, this is the co-host Johnny Baby and what's your name?
George signing off.
This is Neil George and Johnny Baby signing off, guys, and looking forward to catching up with all of you at the next edition, the next episode of the Catholic Chair. Pretty soon. See you another week.